A week of heartbreak strikes Salem the week of June 23 to 27. For long-time viewers of Days of Our Lives, the week of June 23 through June 27 is shaping up to be one of the most emotionally devastating and bittersweet chapters in recent memory. Sophia's graduation day turns tragic. What should have been a joyful and celebratory occasion, Salem High's graduation day, takes a sudden, heartbreaking turn when Sophia Choi goes into unexpected and violent labor. Surrounded by classmates in caps and gowns, the day starts with hope and promise. But in mere minutes, it descends into chaos. Sophia, young and still reeling from the pressures of impending motherhood, begins experiencing contractions in the middle of the ceremony. Alarmed but staying true to his word, Tate Black immediately steps in to help. Viewers will remember that, despite not being the biological father, Tate has stood by Sophia through much of her pregnancy, offering support, stability, and strength. That devotion will be fully tested this week. Paramedics are called, and Sophia is rushed to the hospital, her condition rapidly deteriorating. The urgency is clear. This is not a normal delivery. There are complications, serious ones. The race to save both mother and child begins, but in the end, tragedy strikes. The baby doesn't survive, a life lost too soon despite the best efforts of medical staff. The episode ends in unspeakable sorrow. Sophia's baby, a child not yet held, not yet named, dies during childbirth. For Sophia, it is a physical and emotional trauma that she never could have anticipated. For Tate, it is the loss of a child he had emotionally committed himself to raising. But as viewers soon discover, Tate wasn't the father after all. Aaron Green returns. And a shocking truth comes to light just as grief settles over the hospital. Aaron Green returns to Salem after a long absence. Viewers might remember his complicated relationship with Sophia and the unclear timeline of their past intimacy. Now, everything becomes clear. Aaron, feeling the weight of unresolved emotions, demands a paternity test. Rumors swirl. Did Aaron and Sophia share a moment that led to the pregnancy? The answer is yes. The results of the test arrive, tragically, too late. Aaron is the baby's biological father. The confirmation shatters him. The realization that he had a son who has now died, is almost too much for him to bear. For a young man with a troubled past and a complicated heart, this news lands like a hammer blow. It's a turning point for Aaron. It forces him to grow, to grieve, and perhaps one day, to heal. Fallout for Tate and Holly. Meanwhile, Tate is left confused and heartbroken. He loved the baby as his own. He stood by Sophia when few others did. To learn that the child wasn't biologically his, and that the child is now gone, leaves him spiraling. Here is where Holly Jonas steps back into the frame. Longtime viewers will recall that Holly and Tate have a deeply rooted, complicated history. They were once star-crossed teens in love, torn apart by circumstances, misunderstandings, and growing pains. Now, Holly reappears, perhaps not as a romantic partner just yet, but as a pillar of support. As she comforts Tate in his grief, the old spark between them flickers again. Could this tragedy pave the way for a new chapter in their love story? Holly certainly sees the signs. As Tate leans on her, emotionally raw and vulnerable, she realizes that they might still be meant for each other after all. Whether their bond will rekindle into romance is uncertain, but one thing is clear: Holly will be there for Tate every step of the way. A ripple effect. Doug Williams III and Ari Horton reconnect elsewhere in Salem. Grief has a way of pushing people together. Doug Williams III, Peyton Meyer, deeply shaken by the tragic loss and all the emotional upheaval it triggers among his friends, finds himself seeking comfort in the familiar arms of Ariana, Ari Horton, Marissa Reyes. Doug and Ari had previously gone their separate ways, with youthful disagreements and differing priorities pulling them apart. But in the wake of Sophia's loss, Doug re-evaluates everything. Life is too short, too unpredictable. And so, he reaches out to Ari. Their reunion is quiet, hesitant, and deeply emotional, two young people learning that love isn't always perfect, but it can be redemptive. A glimmer of joy, Paul and Andrew's wedding approaches in a week filled with grief. Days of Our Lives doesn't let go of hope entirely. Amidst all the heartbreak, a light of joy shines through in the form of Paul Narita, Christopher Sean, and Andrew Donovan, who are moving forward with their long-awaited wedding plans. Paul and Andrew's commitment ceremony promises to bring a bit of happiness back to Salem. Friends and family will gather to witness a celebration of love, resilience, and unity. Their story, while not without its own hurdles, offers a much-needed reminder that even in the darkest moments, love can prevail. Their wedding will also serve as a subtle reminder of what matters most in life: cherished relationships, forgiveness, and the courage to keep moving forward. The week of June 23rd to 27th will go down as one of the most emotionally charged weeks in recent memory on Days of Our Lives. The tragic death of Sophia's baby marks a devastating moment for both Aaron and Tate, young men suddenly forced to grapple with the fragility of life and the weight of choices made. Next, a day of reflection and revelation, Days of Our Lives. June 16th episode recap the fictional town of Salem, as portrayed in the June 16th episode of Days of Our Lives, was a whirlwind of emotions, weaving together grief, celebration, and long-buried secrets. For the devoted fans who have followed the Johnson, Devereaux, and Kiriakis families through decades of drama, this episode delivered a poignant mix of nostalgia and fresh intrigue. From heartfelt anniversaries to surprising plot twists, the day was anything but ordinary. Let us dive into the rich tapestry of events that unfolded, with a special nod to the 40th anniversary of Stephen Nichols' iconic portrayal of Steve "Patch" Johnson. A bittersweet morning in Salem. The episode opened with a jarring revelation from Philip Kiriakis, who awoke in his hospital bed and immediately set the record straight with Detective Jada Hunter. Contrary to earlier suspicions, it was not Xander Cook who had attacked him, leaving him battered and unconscious. This declaration raised more questions than answers. Who, then, was responsible for Philip's injuries? The show teased a fleeting, unexplained moment in Philip's hospital room before Jada's arrival. Could someone else have been there, manipulating the scene or coercing Philip into altering his story? The ambiguity left viewers on edge, a classic Days of Our Lives move to keep the audience guessing. Meanwhile, the Johnson and Devereaux families were grappling with profound loss. The recent passing of John Black, portrayed by the late Drake Hodgson, cast a heavy shadow over Salem. John's absence was felt deeply, particularly by his closest friend, Steve Johnson. Yet, amid the mourning, there were glimmers of hope and reasons to celebrate, as the families gathered to honor both the past and the present. A sister's message from beyond. One of the episode's most touching moments came through a spiritual connection between Steve and his late sister, Adrienne Johnson Kiriakis. In a poignant scene, Adrienne's presence was felt as she communicated to Steve that she was with John in the afterlife, promising to watch over him. This message brought a wave of comfort to Steve, who has endured more than his share of heartache. For longtime viewers, this moment was especially meaningful, as it evoked memories of Adrienne's vibrant life in Salem and her tragic death. The absence of Adrienne, a character once played with warmth and grit by Judy Evans, underscored the void left by her departure, yet her message offered a sense of closure and continuity. The show leaned into nostalgia with a vivid flashback to a pivotal moment in the Johnson family saga, Adrienne's revelation to Steve that she was his sister. The Johnson family history is a labyrinth of secrets, betrayals, and hard-won reconciliations, and this flashback was a masterstroke in reminding viewers of the complex bonds that define Steve's world. The scene, drenched in emotion, highlighted Stephen Nichols' ability to convey both vulnerability and strength, a hallmark of his 40-year tenure on the show. Celebrating Stephen Nichols' 40th anniversary. Speaking of Stephen Nichols, the episode served as a heartfelt tribute to his 4 decades as Steve "Patch" Johnson. Since his debut in 1985, Nichols has brought to life one of Salem's most enduring characters. A roguish hero with a heart of gold, whose eye patch and leather jacket became as iconic as his loyalty to family and friends. The show marked this milestone subtly but effectively, weaving Nichols' real-life anniversary into the fabric of the episode through flashbacks and character-driven moments that showcased Steve's evolution. Fans took to social media to express their admiration, with many noting that Nichols' chemistry with co-stars like Mary Beth Evans, Kayla Brady, remains as electric as ever. A retirement party that wasn't at the bistro. Steve's daughter, Stephanie Johnson, had planned a surprise retirement party for her father, believing he was ready to hang up his detective hat after years of running Black Patch investigations. The guest list was a who's who of Salem's elite: Steve, Kayla, Stephanie, Jack Devereaux, Jennifer Horton, Alex Kyriakis, and Jada Hunter. The atmosphere was warm, filled with laughter and reminiscences, as the group toasted to Steve's storied career. The episode treated viewers to a series of flashbacks that tugged at the heartstrings. One showed Steve walking Adrienne down the aisle at her wedding, a bittersweet memory, given her absence and the unexplained absence of her husband, Justin Kyriakis, from the gathering. Another flashback revisited Kayla's wedding, a cornerstone of Steve and Kayla's epic love story. Perhaps the most surprising was a scene featuring Steve with Marcus Hunter, Jada's late father and Steve's best friend, a nod to the deep ties that bind Salem's residents across generations. But the celebration took an unexpected turn when Jennifer Horton made a request that would change Steve's plans. She asked him to track down a precious family heirloom, Julie Williams' necklace, which had been stolen by Doug Williams III. The mission rekindled Steve's passion for detective work, and he revealed that his old friend Bo Brady had once suggested that he and Hope Brady join Black Patch. Seizing the moment, Steve made a call to confirm that Black Patch was far from closed. The retirement party transformed into a lively non-retirement celebration, with Steve recommitting to his life's work. This twist was a reminder that in Salem, no one ever truly retires from adventure. Jack's bittersweet birthday. The episode also marked Jack Devereaux's birthday, a day tinged with both joy and sorrow. Tragically, it coincided with the anniversary of his daughter Abigail's death, a loss that continues to haunt Jack and Jennifer. Jennifer, ever the optimist, went out of her way to make the day special, organizing small gestures to lift her husband's spirits. Steve, too, shared a heartfelt moment with his brother, wishing him a happy birthday and reinforcing their unbreakable bond. In a quiet but powerful scene, Jack made a birthday wish that resonated with fans. He hoped that he and Jennifer could visit Salem more frequently. This moment hinted at future appearances for the beloved couple, much to the delight of viewers who have missed their regular presence. Jack's wish was a testament to the enduring pull of Salem, a town that, despite its chaos, remains home to those who love it. Tensions and teasers. Steve versus Alex. Amid the celebrations, a subtle undercurrent of tension emerged between Steve and Alex Kyriakis. Alex repeatedly referenced Steve's apparent dislike for him, suggesting a brewing conflict. Was this a deliberate move by the writers to set the stage for drama between Alex and Stephanie, who share a complicated history? The show has a knack for planting seeds of discord that blossom into full-blown storylines, and this dynamic bears watching. For now, the friction between Steve and Alex added a layer of intrigue to an already packed episode. Reflections on a Day in Salem. The June 16 episode of Days of Our Lives was a masterclass in balancing multiple storylines while honoring the show's rich history. From Phillips' mysterious hospital revelation to Steve's decision to keep Black Patch alive, the episode kept viewers on their toes. The flashbacks were a particular highlight, offering a window into the Johnson family's tumultuous past while celebrating Stephen Nichols' remarkable 40-year journey. For fans over 65, who have followed the show for decades, these nostalgic touches were especially poignant, evoking memories of Salem's glory days. The episode also excelled in its emotional depth. The interplay between grief for John and Abigail and the joy of Jack's birthday and Steve's non-retirement created a narrative that felt true to life, bittersweet, complex, and hopeful. Adrienne's message from beyond was a reminder that in Salem, love and connection transcend even death, a theme that resonates deeply with longtime viewers. As the credits rolled, questions lingered. Who really attacked Philip, and what happened in that hospital room? Will Steve and Alex's tension escalate, and how will it affect Stephanie? And what adventures await Steve now that Black Patch is back in business? One thing is certain, in Salem, the drama never stops, and fans wouldn't have it any other way. What was your favorite moment from this episode? Did the flashback stir memories of past Days of Our Lives episodes? Share your thoughts and questions below, and let's keep the conversation going.